This is Jesse from GiveGab, here to talk to you about how you can spread the word and share your organization's participation in a giving day. Alright, so first off, we're going to go through a few basics about how you can begin to share your organization's mission with both new and old supporters. So before you begin sharing, is your organization verified to accept donations on GiveGab? So are you verified with your state attorney general's office, if applicable in your state? And then on GiveGab, have you entered in your bank account information and your EIN information so that you can receive donations through the site? And the next, is your profile complete? So have you added those profile basics like your logo, a tagline, completed your story, filled out with some images, maybe a video, and then have you even included those donation levels? And then next, have you determined your main goals for the event? So do you have a dollar goal, a participation goal, or perhaps your goal is to reach new audiences? So, do you have a number of new donors that you'd like to acquire on your giving day? And then once you have the answers to all of these questions, then you're ready to go ahead and share your giving day profile. Alright, so as you're beginning to think through what strategies you can use to share your profile and how you want to go about sharing your profile, you really want to make sure you know your audience. So first, think about those supporters that you already know. You know their behaviors, they've supported you in the past. How do those individuals like to be engaged? So do they prefer email communications? Do they really engage with social media posts like Facebook or maybe Twitter? Or do they really like mailers? They like that physical postcard, or maybe even in-person events is the best way to reach your supporters. And then what channels do you have the strongest following in? So do you have a really large email list? Do you have a really strong Facebook presence? Or maybe you have, a regular in-person event that has a really strong and regular audience. And once you kind of learn which areas have the strongest following, think about how you can leverage that to your advantage when sharing out your communications and your participation in a giving day. And then next, what previously have been your most effective modes of communication with supporters? So really you want to answer the question of what communications have worked well, why have they worked well, and then how can you leverage those answers in planning out your communications and how you'll share your story for this year's Giving Day campaign. Alright, so once you have thought through your audience and how you can best engage them, and then kind of maybe begun to map out some strategies around engaging them, you really want to begin to formalize your plan. So first, think about what kind of marketing budget you'll have available to you prior to the day. So this marketing budget would go towards things like paid advertising on social media, or even if you were going to leverage radio ads or TV ads, anything like that. So that's the first piece of this. And then you want to determine what platforms you're really going to utilize to share your message. And so these are platforms that your team is well versed in, and then these are platforms that your supporters have engaged in previously. So really going to that question of what platforms work well for our audience and engage them at a really high level. And then once you've answered that question, you want to start mapping out your timeline for sending communications. So really think through, if your giving day is 6 weeks away, at what point are we going to begin to ramp up communications for the day? And then how are we going to continue to communicate more as we get closer and closer to the day, so that you're really conveying that sense of urgency and kind of trying to get across that need and sort of momentum as the day gets closer and closer so that people get excited and hopefully participate on the day. And then always keep in mind your overarching goals for the day as you're developing this plan. Those goals really should inform all aspects of your communications plan, both in how you develop your marketing budget or when you plan communications, but it'll also really inform the tone of your messaging and marketing as well. All right, so covering your bases. So what areas can you market your Giving Day participation? There really are several places where you can make potential donors aware that you're participating in a Giving Day and that you're going to have a Giving Day campaign coming up. So first and foremost, your website. So I would highly recommend posting something about your participation in a Giving Day just as a static element on your website so that people who come to it at any point in time leading up to the day can see that you're participating. Hopefully they'll check out your profile. You can even consider on the day of turning your donate button, if you have one on your site, so that it actually links to your Giving Day profile. That way people are driven to your profile and they can donate straight through your Giving Day campaign. And then, so next, always an email is a great way to share your participation in a Giving Day. So it's always nice to kind of do a teaser email or a save the date email to announce your participation and say, hey, mark your calendars, this Giving Day is coming up. We'd really appreciate your support. And then continue to leverage email as the day gets closer and closer. You can kind of ramp up excitement, and especially sending out an email the day before, and then of course sending at least one email on the day of. I really recommend two. That way you can kind of give an update and then a nice thank you email, and always with a call to action. And then next, you can announce your participation in a direct mail appeal. So these, you have to be mindful of the timing. I think if you can leverage a direct mail appeal as a sort of save the date, I always put things on my refrigerator. So if you have a really catching postcard, someone might be compelled to do the same, and that way they walk by their fridge, they see, this Giving Day is coming up. I really want to support your organization. And then next, social media. Again, kind of like email, you can do a save the date. And then just with social media, it's so easy to do reminders as the day gets closer and closer so that you're really staying on top of people's minds, and they kind of know, on this day, I need to support my organization. And then with social media, it does allow for that level of engagement. So hopefully people might share out your posts, and that will really broaden your network as well, and hopefully that donor base on the day. And then wherever you can, share your Giving Day campaign in your community. So if you have events with your community, posters are a great way to get awareness. Or if you can partner with the Giving Day host or other organizations who are participating in the Giving Day, that's just a great way not only to represent your organization, but your community as a whole. And if your Giving Day is putting on any day of events, those are always a great thing to participate in, and that can be a great way just to grow awareness about your organization. Calls to action are really important. You really want to include a call to action in any piece of communications or marketing material that you create and share with individuals. So a call to action is intended to entice your audience so that they're compelled to take a specific action that will ultimately help your organization reach its goals and ideally make your supporters feel satisfied with their engagement. So below are a few examples of some different calls to action that you can include really in any communication. So these calls to action could go out in an email. You could even put them in a social media post. So I'll walk through these. So for example, make a difference today, and that could include a link to your Giving Day profile, or you could ask individuals to share their personal story, which would then link to a peer-to-peer fundraising page. The next one's sort of an event announcement, and it gives that immediacy. Join us this Thursday, which could link to a volunteer or event sign up. Learn more about our programs, which you could use to link to your website. Sign up today, which would link to a newsletter subscription. So that's a great way to grow your audience and get people more engaged with your organization. Help 5 people at once, and that could link to the donation form at that corresponding amount. So that's a great link to share on your giving day, and that's something that could easily be emailed out or posted in a social media post. And then finally, a nice RSVP call to action. Let us know you'll be there. And next, so sharing your story. So this is really going to be the kind of meat and potatoes of a lot of your communications and your marketing, and just a lot of what you'll think about as you're developing these materials. So one thing to really be mindful is this acronym COPE: create once, post everywhere. And this will not only save you all a lot of time, but it also provides a continuity in experience for your supporters, in that, if I get an email from you, or I go to your Facebook page, or maybe even if I go to an in-person event, I can recognize the similarity in materials, and it's just, you're continuing to weave that thread all across the board. And all of those materials should really tie in to your Giving Day profile so that it's all part of the same narrative. And it just makes it for a really cohesive marketing strategy. And like the last slide, always provide clear calls to action. You really want to drive someone to take an action, whether or not it's, making note that your Giving Day is coming up, or signing up to be a peer-to-peer fundraiser, or to volunteer, or hopefully to make a donation on the day of. So next, you always want to include links to your Giving Day profile. So this can be in a call to action, can also be in the text of your message that you're sharing out. I think just always making sure that people know that it's clear that this is a link to your Giving Day profile, so that they hopefully can check it out, read a bit more about your story, and then also just learn about the Giving Day in general. And the more familiar they become with that profile, the more likely they're hopefully going to be to visit it and donate to you on your day of giving. And then always make sure that you're offering opportunities for your supporters to get involved. Not only is this a great engagement opportunity, but it just really, it allows those individuals who care for your organization to help support you. And a great way to engage your supporters is to recruit them as peer-to-peer fundraisers. And that's really a great way to grow your donor base and your participation on the day. And then again, always keep your goals in mind. Your goals really should inform all strategies on your Giving Day campaign. All right, so now that we've covered the basics, we're going to jump into some specifics. So we're going to walk through a number of examples for some of the different communication channels that we've discussed in the first section. All right, so email outreach. So the best thing about email is that it's fast, it's easy, and it's an inexpensive means of communication. It allows for effective tracking of supporter engagement. So it's really easy to see how many people opened your email and how many people clicked through your links on your email. So that's nice in that it gives you a set of metrics that can allow you to evaluate, was this email effective? Was our messaging effective in creating conversions? So that's really important in just allowing you to evaluate, is this working or is it not working? Email also allows for simple segmentation for different types of messaging to different audiences. So maybe you use a different message for people who have given to you this year already from those who have not yet given to you this year. And then email allows you to easily schedule all communications ahead of time. So once you have your communications plan outlined and you've created those communications, you can go ahead and schedule all of your emails. That way you don't have to worry about them as you get closer and closer to the day. And then emails are completely customizable to your organization's branding. So these emails for your Giving Day campaign can really look similar to your year-round emails, and that might just make people feel a little more comfortable as they're looking through them, and it just gives them that sense of familiarity. And then if you don't have an email client that you use regularly, there are plenty to choose from. Lots of them are free, and lots of them are pretty robust and allow you to do a lot of the things we just discussed. All right, so here's an example of a newsletter. So newsletters are great because it's a regular communication that provides updates to your audience every month, maybe every week. And so this is something you can do to kind of keep a Giving Day on the forefront of someone's mind if you just give a quick update, every month. And you can do that several months prior to the day. And then a newsletter also allows you to give multiple calls to action that are clear, that are different. So here you see there's a call to action to donate, but then there's also a call to action to follow Logan's Pups on Facebook so that you can stay in tune with prize updates. And then there's also a link to the Giving Day profile for Logan's Pups, and you could even include a volunteer opportunity. So it's just a really great way to provide different means of engagement for individuals. And then newsletters naturally are where your supporters expect to hear updates, so it's a good place to announce those updates and really keep people in the loop. And then if your organization already sends out regular newsletters, you could just add your Giving Day campaign updates as a column or a little section in your existing newsletter. So it doesn't have to be a newsletter solely dedicated to your Giving Day, but it just can be incorporated into the newsletters that you already send. And here's an example of just a general email that is just announcing Logan's Pups participation in a Giving Day. So again, these are quick, easy to create and send to supporters. You can include direct links that tell supporters how they can get involved. And then to make the email more digestible, you can just put bullet points that highlight the really important information. So hopefully, if people are busy, they at least read the bullet points and kind of can get some key takeaways. So it's really important to put that key information where you think people are most likely to see it. And then you can send an email from any platform that you use to your audience. And it's always nice to include an image in an email, whether or not it's in the header like it is here, or if you had an image that you wanted to include in the body of the email. I always recommend that. People really engage highly with emails that have images. And then you can see there's this call to action at the bottom that links to the Giving Day profile for Logan's Pups. And then another really passive and easy way to grow awareness about your organization's participation in a Giving Day is an email signature. So we all send lots of emails, so why not add maybe a little graphic here from the day of giving, And then just a quick note, support us on November 28th during our local Day of Giving. So that just brings awareness about your participation in a giving day to all the individuals that you email. And then if you put the date and time, people will know, oh, this is when this organization is participating. And so hopefully it, kind of marks in their mind that on November 28th, they'll come back, they'll support your organization on its Day of Giving. All right, so now moving to social media. So as many of us know, social media is continuing to become more and more popular amongst all demographics. And it's really growing to be a really crucial component of online fundraising. So I think most organizations have a pretty solid online presence with social media, and I think we're seeing a lot more organizations providing regular updates and regular engagement with their supporters on social media. And the type of messaging and the way that you're going to deliver that messaging is going to vary from platform to platform. There are advantages and disadvantages to each platform, and so always be mindful of those in how you tailor each message to a specific platform, and also just the strengths of the platform. So for example, you might leverage Facebook to tell a little more in-depth of a story or communication, but then Instagram might allow you to really hook people in with a compelling photo. One thing that's consistent across all platforms is there are lots of ways to be creative. People like to see that creativity. Any way you can stand out will always catch people's attention. Don't be afraid to be humorous. People always enjoy that. And then you always want to use hashtags. So hashtags that include your Giving Day hashtag, like for example Giving Tuesday. So the Giving Tuesday hashtag would allow you to be a part of any conversation that involves that Giving Tuesday hashtag. So a lot of people might search by hashtag and your organization would come up. So it just not only allows you to be a part of that conversation, but it also might give you a wider audience if people are really engaging with any post that uses that hashtag. And then if your Giving Day has a tag board set up for that specific Giving Day's hashtag, you would also appear on that tag board. So that's another great way to provide some means of engagement for your organization. And here is an example of a tag board. So this is for Give for Good Louisville. And so you can see it populates the tag board with any social media post that uses the Give for Good Lou hashtag. So you can see a bunch of different organizations are using this hashtag. And then if you are on the tag board, you could click through these links, or you could go to that organization's social media profile. And then this will update throughout the day as the hashtag is being used. All right, so what are some of the strengths of each individual platform? So Facebook is ideal for sharing longer stories, photos, and videos. Facebook is also great just because a lot of people might reshare content, and we see that often if you look at referrals, Facebook is definitely the social media site that has the highest amount of referrals to our Giving Days. So it still really is a strong platform, and you should definitely focus a lot of your communications to tailor them to Facebook. Twitter is great for those quick updates, so it has that 140 character limit, and then it's a great place to not only share a quick message, quick updates, but also photos, links, or short videos. Twitter is really great for those urgent calls to actions, or maybe you're in the running for a prize or want to compete for a prize. It's great for announcements like that. Instagram is great for sharing photos and telling stories. It's a great way to hook people in. And then with Instagram, you can only share a link in your sort of about section on your main profile page. And then YouTube, great for sharing videos, and that's a great way to host videos on YouTube, and then you can share that YouTube link across any social media channel and in emails. Snapchat is a fun way to share live videos and photos in real time. And then LinkedIn is a great way to let your network know that you're participating. And then if you want to learn more about specific social media strategies, please check out our social media strategies video. We'll kind of go in depth into some examples so you can get some inspiration. And then we also have a lot of blog posts that are really helpful. And I always recommend earmarking any social media posts you see that are really compelling to you. Maybe you can take some inspiration from those posts and incorporate some of those ideas into your own communications. All right, so what can you do on your website to announce your participation on the day and just really market your participation in a giving day? So most importantly, add a save the date prior to the day. So that way when people go onto your website, they see, November 27th, my organization is participating in Giving Tuesday. And they'll begin to just make that mental note that that's coming up. And then as you get closer to the day, update your website banner. So maybe you incorporate the Giving Day logo with your organization's logo. And again, that just brings further awareness to your participation in the Giving Day. And then if you have a Get Involved or volunteer page, why not add some Giving Day specific volunteer opportunities like peer-to-peer fundraising, or maybe someone can be in charge of some sort of outreach campaign or helping with an in-person event if you're hosting one. And so that just makes sure you're building out your team and that support network for your Giving Day campaign. And then if you can, connect your donate button on your website to your Giving Day donation form or profile once donations are live for a Giving Day. And this will ensure that any donation made to your organization will count towards your Giving Day totals, and if there are prizes, that will improve your chances of winning those Giving Day prizes. All right, and here's an example of a website. So you can see the donate button would link to the Giving Day donation form once those donations are live for that Giving Day. And then here you can see in the Logan's Pups banner, there's the date of the Giving Day and the time that it runs. And then if you click Learn More, you would go to Logan's Pups Giving Day profile. So there are multiple opportunities for someone coming onto this site to learn more about this Giving Day and hopefully engage with Logan's Pups on November 28th. So what are some other ways you can reach out to supporters? So add a save the date sticker or rack card to any direct email appeals that you're sending out during your planning period. If you can, partner with a local business to promote your organization and encourage those patrons to support the Giving Day. So any way in which you can grow awareness about your campaign will most likely result in more donors and more support on the day. Publish a press release that you send out to media partners. So this just gets more eyes on your campaign, and again will hopefully drive more people to support your organization. And then just really think about ways you can incorporate your Giving Day campaign and awareness of it anywhere you can. So just get creative. This kind of goes back to that know your audience idea. So if there are sort of different avenues in which your audience really engages in, or which you think they'll see these communications, then go out to those avenues. Make sure you're reaching them where they might best see your organization so that they're aware and ready to support you on your Giving Day. All right, and then lastly, we're always here for you at GiveGab. So if you've been on your Giving Day site, you've probably seen the blue chat bubble in the lower right-hand corner, and many of you may have used it already. So if you click that chat bubble, you'll see this little chat box. So this links to our customer success team, and you can always send them a quick question, really about anything. If you have questions about setting up your profile or looking for a specific support or blog article, please don't hesitate to write into us. We're always happy to answer any questions you have during business hours, which for us, we're on the East Coast, and our business hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then you can also send us an email at customersuccess@givegab.com. And so really, we're here for you. This is part of one of our favorite things about working with organizations is this piece of engagement. So we do really like learning more about you and helping you out on your campaign. Thank you all so much for listening in to this webinar. Be sure to check out the other webinars that we have available, as well as any of the blogs or even some support articles for any additional Giving Day ideas or just fundraising ideas in general. And the other thing I recommend is just checking out what your peer organizations are doing. That's a great way to get some ideas and sort of to see what others are doing and how you can, change up your communication style and kind of better engage your supporters. So thank you all again. Have a great day.